Hi, welcome back to the Kilted Ball Podcast, episode 17.
17. We're almost adults.
It's crazy. And this one has, yeah, right. This one actually has a name. So the other ones, they kind of get their name developed as we go through. This one actually has a name to start. You ready for the name?
Yeah.
Yes, already. Before we even started, I was out on a run and I was like, I know what we're going to be talking about today, and I know what the name is going to be today. And so the name for this is Gary V and the FOMO experience.
There you go. I love it.
Gary, don't steal my idea. Give me credit. Gary V and the FOMO experience. You can put that in your next book, buddy. So I had a huge compliment this week. Huge compliment. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Dan. My buddy Dan teaches economics. And I told him, listen, I'm going to turn you into the awesomest economics teacher ever, because he's going to have my daughter this year. And I'm like, I'm going to put you right over the top. And he's like, oh yeah. And I go, yep. I go, sit down. Let me take you on a tour of NFTs. I'm like, have you heard about NFTs? He's like, I'm like, kind of heard a little bit. I'm like, let's effing go. Let's go. And so I started talking to him about it. And like the entire conversation, by the way, was him going, oh my gosh, this is this objective. Oh my gosh, this is this part. Holy cow, this is this part. And he's like, it hits like all of our criteria. And I'm like, right? I'm like, use this.
Awesome.
Use this. The kids will know what you're talking about. You're going to be super relevant. I go, you'll get them excited about it. I'm like, you can tie it into so many different economics. I go, and we're at the beginning and it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And I go, and you're going to be able to follow an economic trend almost from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I go, and it's going to be changing. I go, every month. I go, so right now, I go, we are in what I call the avatar phase. I go, and that's copyrighted. Don't steal it. No, I'm teasing. It's actually not. But it's the avatar phase. I go, and we are going to be going through a whole bunch of different phases with this as people use it for advertising and people use it for smart contracts. And we've talked about that before, but I'm like, you'll be able to follow this. And he's like, well, and some parts of this are like a new currency and a this and that. And I'm like, yes, it's like everything you need. But during this conversation, I started to show him different NFTs and showing him how like supply for avatars is now outpaced demand, how they're still the OGs and all of that. And I'm like, oh, I go, have you ever heard of Gary V? Well, he's an economics teacher. And I know, Gary, if you're listening to this, you poo-poo teaching, but it ain't like
not
what
necessarily.
It was
It's just not for everybody, he says.
Well, he says it's not for everybody. He also says, yeah, why would you ever want to memorize a periodic table? Yeah, right, Gary. Why would you? We don't. Nobody memorizes that. It's why it's a table. And if your teacher was doing it, they were an idiot, and you can tell them, right? You don't make people memorize stuff that you literally have a table for. Like it's in the name, right? And so I'm like, oh, have you ever heard him? And he's like, oh my gosh, yes, I love Gary V. He goes, I've read a few of his books. I listened to some of his podcasts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, good. Let me show you what he's done in NFTs. And he's like, actually, he goes, you said you have a podcast? I'm like, I do have a podcast. He goes, I kind of want to listen to that. And I'm like, really? You'd be interested in that? And he goes, well, I think of you as like a Gary V who doesn't swear. he goes, you all have so much energy and you bring all this energy and like passion to what you do. And he goes, that's awesome. And then Gary V is just a little bit more crass. And I was like, yeah, which is probably why he makes tons of money. And I'm teaching chemistry.
No, it's the Michigan to Jersey. You grew up in different places.
That's true. And I love teaching. So, you know, if I had 70 bored apes, I'd still be teaching, right? Like I wouldn't change that.
71 will tip you over though.
71 would tip me over. I'd be tired. Yep, I'd be like, I'm out. For sure. For sure. So first off, Jerry, you made some moves, and then we'll talk about Gary V some more. So Gary, we're going to have to tag Gary V on this.
I know.
These people might want to hear this podcast, but we'll be giving some
so I mean, just you want me to talk about what happened last night and everything?
Yes, last night. Yes, if you can in under 3 minutes.
Okay, I can super fast.
Okay.
So we've talked about XRP on here and Ripple and the SEC and all of that, and I really feel that that it's going to move for myself personally. And I was trying to think of ideas how I could get a hold of some.
Financial advice.
Nope, not financial advice. Because a lot here in the United States, System 50 listed them. I was trying to think when I go up to Michigan and visit that I'd take a few extra days, go to Canada, buy a burner phone, take my computer and everything, set up an account in Canada through all their systems, install MetaMask on that phone, and be able to buy XRP when I'm in Canada. Because I have a feeling in the next few weeks, maybe month, 2 at the most, am I just from people smarter than me have talked about, it's going to be over soon. There's probably going to be a settlement and the price is going to skyrocket, in my opinion. So, or I was trying to think of some way that someone I could trust overseas or someplace else in a different country that I could send some money to order some. Anyways, our friend Jason, who comes up a lot, I can't wait to have him on here someday. We'll all be able to get together on that. But
There'll be a day. There'll be a day.
So he was posting a couple of his NFTs, and he's like, well, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And I think that, not as we never know. We don't know where the highs are. But I had my Bored Ape Kennel Club, which I got for free. And I think it can still go up, but I think that the XRP will go up more than that NFT. So I did some research. I didn't post it at the floor because I had some rare traits. I posted a little bit higher, and after a couple hours, it did sell. And I took all of that and I turned it into XRP. So I was super excited because there are decentralized exchanges that you could get them on, which I didn't realize. Well, I didn't even think about it, but I had some other friends that had bought it on the decentralized exchange.
That had to have been at least like 12,000 XRP, right?
I had some other ether as well. I ended up getting 18,000.
18,000. I mean,
XRPs.
If you're not getting 20,000, you're not doing it right. Not financial advice.
So super excited about that. And,
well, yeah, I mean, if you're lowballing it and you're saying it's going to go 5 times,
even if it doubles,
bad.
I mean, if it doubles, it doubles. I mean, I don't know in that same time and now I don't have my kennel club, my Bored Ape Kennel Club. I just have my ape. I don't have the dog anymore. And there may be things in the future where you need both for drops and things like that. I guess I'm taking that chance, but I have a feeling that before, I sold it for a 4.2, and before that goes to 8.4, or the price of ETH doubles, all those different things to take into, to consider, obviously, for the price.
Right.
That
I think will double first.
I think that XRP will double first.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I'm not all in on XRP. I think there's issues there, but I think it's going to double, right? Like I think there's no fear at all. Not financial advice.
Yeah,
but I think you're exactly right.
It's funny because all that happened last night, and 2 of the podcasts I listened to today were both talking about it. And it was funny. One of them, they have like the BitBoy. He has different people on there, so there were a couple of them on there, and everyone was like, it's at least going to double. Like when this is over, it's at least doing that. But then a few of them were like, well, this and this, and there were things that they were concerned about. And the main guy, he's like, no, he's like interrupting him. He's like, that's not true. Those are arguments from 5 years ago. He's like, do your homework. So he's thinking to actually $20 to $30.
That'd be crazy.
Be insane.
That'd be crazy. You'd be pretty happy. I mean, I'm gonna get XRP if I can ever figure out how. So all right. So let's talk about the Gary V FOMO experience. So
yes,
Kilted and I have been talking a lot lately, and I can't remember if we did this during a podcast or if it was in one of the bonus episodes recently, but I was teasing him because Gary V was like, I'm buying this panda, and Kilted was like, cool, I'm buying this panda, which I don't think is bad, right? But I was talking about how Gary is totally manipulating the markets here, whether intentional or not intentional, right? I think he seems to be a pretty good guy, right? But he gets excited, and then all of his minions get super excited, and they all just buy it. And so the things go through the roof, and they have the Gary V like bump. right?
And he's been
Avastar's
saying,
that.
he's been tweeting a bunch like, don't buy what I buy. Don't look at
Yes,
my
he
wallet.
does all the time,
Yeah.
which makes it worse. It makes it worse.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, but it's like when I tell my kid, don't eat this candy. This candy's terrible. Don't eat the candy. And the kid's like, ha, 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 ha. Right? So he's
Mhm.
like, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Right. But so, but he gave the Avastars that bump. They're back down. But you know, there's a Gary
Mhm.
V bump. It's really
Yeah.
clear. And so I was laughing about that. Gary V gives people FOMO. Like I didn't use those words, but
Mhm.
that's what he does. And
Yeah.
today, oh my word, like the biggest FOMO ever.
He's been
He's like
talking
the
about
king
it
of
for.
FOMO.
Mhm.
He is the FOMO king. Gary, you should have a crown. I might 3D print you a crown, Gary, that says the FOMO king, right? Because he's been talking about it for what, a week, 2 weeks, saying huge announcement on Friday. Huge
Mhm.
announcement on Friday. He's been tweeting it so much that I'm at practice running on a trail with YouTube on my phone and my earbud and listening as I'm coaching to his live stream because I'm so excited about his stupid announcement. That made no
But
difference if I got it then or if I got it 30
but
minutes
look at
later.
but he didn't do that. He didn't do that for his V friends though. He for the V friends, he was just like, do this. You're not going to be, but he didn't push it like this. And look
No,
at how many people may have missed out.
no,
And
no. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's not like a bad thing. What I'm saying
okay.
though is he makes his own FOMO, right? Like I am going to buy this. I'm going to buy this on air right now. You're all going to see me buy this. I've already
Mhm.
got it like booted up.
I
So
bought mine
you'll,
earlier.
yeah. And Jared bought, wait, how many did you buy? Did you say?
I bought enough. Let's just
He bought
say.
enough. He bought enough.
I
So here's the deal. Here's the announcement. The big reveal from Gary Vee today. His book is coming out. If you didn't know that, you're in kind of the wrong space, maybe, right? But Gary Vee has a book. His books people like, right? They're good books, and he's releasing one, and it's pre-release started, and it's official coming out is November 16th. So Michiganders, the day after hunting season, right? So that's how we time things around here.
Yeah, at least you have the day off before it comes in.
right. You can get ready.
Shout out to Wilbur. Like, what? Yeah, we have to go to classes today.
That was the best. For those of you who don't know, Jared's college roommate didn't understand why MSU had classes on opening day, not November 15th. He's like, wait, you're not supposed to have school on opening day. Thought it was a national holiday. But yeah, so anyway, I'm big, like I'm running and he's like talking about this and he's like, so here's the deal. The announcement was you pre-order of 12 of the books, he's going to give you a surprise. He's not telling you what the surprise is,
But it'll be airdropped.
but it's going to be dropped. And so, hey, there's going to be a surprise. And literally that's all he has to say. So I'm running and he's like, hey, I'm going to airdrop prize. I'm like, cool. I'm going to buy 12. I'm going to buy 12. Right. And so I'm like running along and he's like, yeah, you're going to be so sad if you don't get 24. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 24. Right. And then he's like, you don't want to be, you know how you feel about V friends, that if you only bought one, you're sad, or if you only bought 10, you're sad. He goes, that's how you're going to feel. You're going to feel that same way. And I'm like, shit, maybe I need to buy 36. Right. So like, I'm like, Gary, you are the quintessential FOMO king. I was going to buy a book, right? Like I was going to buy a book. And then like instantly I was going to buy 12. I was like, yeah, I'm buying 12. High five. I'm going to get an airdrop. And then you're like, you're going to be sad. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? Right? Like,
so if you had two bets right now, would you be sad?
I wouldn't be sad, but it's clearly, it is literally the acronym fear of missing out. Like he's like, you're going to be sad. If you bought 48 books, you're going to be sad you bought 48 books. Well, and didn't go ahead and buy 96.
I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I don't think he's announced how many books I got, that the people are going to be sad if they got that many. So
did you put on there that you got how many got?
I did.
Yeah. So I'm for sure going to get 24.
I've seen people write more. I saw people write more than mine, but yeah.
I'm going to for sure get 24. I'm
good job.
Well, I'm not worried about it all. And here, let me tell you my why. And this is why I don't think you're dumb. The number you got, any of you that are dumb, not financial advice, but here's why none of you are dumb, right? So let's say, I don't know what the price is. The price right now is $25.50, a little overpriced, Gary. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. It's not overpriced at all. That's normal book pricing, right? So it's $25.49, and I'm gonna buy 24 of those. Okay, that's gonna cost me $611. Can't believe I'm gonna drop $611 on a book. And if you're sitting here going, what book is this? You keep talking about this book. This is my calculator, and this is Gary V's book, right?
Would you I have a quick question for you though.
So this is on Barnes and Noble, people. If you want, you can get it on Amazon. And if you're wondering, ooh, maybe I'll get a deal on Amazon, is that coming up on your screen there, Kilted?
Yeah.
Yeah, same price, right? So
he did say something special for Barnes.
I love Amazon, but Barnes and Noble is Barnes and Noble, right? Like Amazon is a giant. And if I can give something to somebody who's a smaller giant, I'm going to give stuff to a smaller giant. So anyway, I'm buying this, and I'm going to get 24, and let's say with my handy dandy calculator, that's $611, right?
What's 0.2 ETH right now?
That's 0.2 ETH.
You didn't think about 0.5 the other day.
It's 0.2 ETH. And if Gary V today posted online, I've got a new V friend that I'm going to drop, and I'm going to give it to every V friend for 1 ETH. I would be buying it for 1 ETH without even thinking about it. I'd buy 5 for an ETH, right?
That's why I went higher than an ETH. That's why I went higher than an ETH.
I'm going to get 24 books. And if he drops me an NFT that is remotely cool at all,
well, actually, you're getting 2.
I'm going to get 2. But even if 1 is remotely cool at all, it's going to go for an ETH. That's like, how could it not? It's a Gary V airdrop. This is 0.2. I'm going to make 0.8 on 1 book.
Are you giving financial advice?
No, I'm saying that's why you're not being dumb. That's why I'm like, you're not dumb for buying that. Now, I think it's a little harsh for people to be like, hey, I'm going to tie up all of this money in books, and then I'm going to get a crap ton of books come November. But again, that's a pretty big investment. And Gary V is probably the smartest marketer I've ever heard of. Like this is crazy, because this is it. Like I would have bought 1, right? And what am I going to do? I'm going to pre-order this, right? Like I'm doing it. You guys can see me doing this right now. Oh, look, I can get this perfect book. Would I like to add this? No, I don't. Thanks for the pop-up.
I got that same pop-up as well.
Ooh, I can get free shipping plus 10% off. I think I used to be a Barnes & Noble member back when books were like a thing.
I do that every year at Christmas time because I always go Christmas shopping at Barnes & Noble, and then I don't use it again the rest of the year. But I should have used it today because I could have saved a couple.
Well, anyway,
hundies.
I've got to fix this. So I'm going to go 10 plus. So 24 update. And look at that, 611.76.
And one thing, I think someone was trying to give him a hard time on the. I don't know if because you said your signal was going in and out. Someone was trying to give him a hard time that he was shilling his books, and he's like, no. He's like, yes, I'm super excited about this book. He's like, but I'm going to risk everything I've built and and everything I've done and pass out a bad book. Like I've made more on the secondary market of eFriends selling than I'm going to make on this whole book deal.
Yeah. No, that's what he said. He goes, so much more on that. He goes, like, this is nothing. Like, why would I? Right. Because he was swearing a lot. Like, he's like, why would I risk my reputation on this? Reputation is everything, which you're right. It is, right? Like, if he blows up his reputation, everything goes through the floor.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So Gary, you're right. Don't screw up your reputation. We're kind of counting on it. We have V friends. So make sure VCon is like through the roof. I'm so excited about this. My friend Dan was like, so wait, are you going to go to VCon? And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Of course I'm going to go to VCon. I don't even go where it is. If I have to take off work, if I have to stop coaching that week, I don't care. I'm going to go. Like, why would I not? So let's continue.
It's going to be super exciting. And
we don't recognize your address. What did I do wrong?
Oh, because
I
you have
know
it in you
all
have
of
it
you
in
are
two,
looking where I'm living here. We're gonna
you
stop
have
this.
it
You
in
can see
two,
I'm
you have it
buying
in
it.
2 lines. That's why.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yep. But yeah, it was that's the way I was looking at it. I was like, if this, I mean, and he didn't say it was an NFT. He did not say it was an NFT. He
He
just said
did
it would be
not say
airdrop.
it was an NFT.
But if it was an NFT, even if I wasn't getting the books, I probably would have spent double, but I don't want to. I already gonna have a ton of books hanging around. But I think it's what I'll do for Dream State. I'll have something where at Christmas time, like, hey, do you know somebody who's, or maybe I'll just throw it in everything I sell. I'll just pass
Right.
them out for
Yeah.
the goodwill.
Yeah, my thought is at least for a few of the oops. So Barnes and Noble doesn't like it if you leave all the credit card info blank.
It doesn't. Dang
Yeah,
them.
Fred Air and I just tried to buy 24 books for no credit card info.
That's
It did not
awesome.
like that. Right. We'll see if my credit card is like, what are you doing?
So yeah, while you're doing that, I've
Yeah,
I've posted a couple other of my NFTs, and ones that are kind of creeping up a little bit, and especially that ones that I'm not keeping for the long term. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and just kind of, so I'm not like constantly worrying about it and not constantly checking the floor. And plus I'm all out of ETH right now. So at,
it's the worst.
at
I'm out of ETH
$2.
right. I'm out of ETH right now too, and I'm so bitter. Actually, I'm not out of ETH. I just can't move it between accounts right now.
Oh,
All
buddy.
right. So Gary V, I am submitting my order right now. 24 books.
And thank you, Gary. I thought it was a
Gary,
great idea. I think it's super
Gary, I
cool.
think it's brilliant. I'm planning like Kilted. I was like, hey, I'm gonna probably take these and give them away to people who order the candy. So if you want to go to My Sweet and Sour, if you're a person listening to this, in the coupon code, put Gary V in the coupon code, and you know what? I will I'll send you a book with your order come November,
There you
right?
go.
Make it a big order, right? Like don't come into my licorice thing and buy one stick of licorice and be like, hey, send me a book. Like, don't do that to me. But you buy like 10 sticks of licorice, I'll send you a book,
That's awesome.
right? Like, what do I care? I'm gonna have 24 apparently. So,
Be stacked up. Come November, we'll be watching Ballbuster, and his I'm in a meeting sign is going to be moved, and there's just going to be a stack of books
It's
there.
just gonna be a stack of books straight up, right? Straight up there. Well, and Kilted knows this, but I'm what do you say? I'm the head of the board for the local library, which is a pretty big library. And so I'm going to donate a few of these books there. Amy already said, man, I want to give this to my leadership team. So
That's
we're
awesome.
hoping to interview Amy sometime, but her leadership team likes this. She goes, I'm going to be giving these all out to that. And she goes, but that's only 12. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get 20 for sure.
That's awesome.
I go, yay for your 12. Dang it, this darn thing is not popping up yet. Like it gives you a verification code, and the verification code hasn't popped up.
I'll admit 12 and 24 were kind of early in my head, and I was sitting here and I was listening and watching, but that moved away pretty quickly. I quickly moved to 60.
Yeah.
But
again, that's exactly my point.
Yep.
Gary V creates FOMO. Like, I am so worried about missing out on his surprise that I'm buying enough for 2 surprises, right? Because I believe him when he says I'm going to be sad.
That's why I bought 2 gift codes.
And like the 12, Gary, I'll tell you this, right? Like, I'm not at this stage anymore, but you know what? Like, if I was at like a party or the bar and a girl takes advantage of me to have me buy drinks and just hang out with me, I'm like, worth it. Right. And I view you the same way, Gary. Like, I'm okay buying like 12 books and you take advantage of me. If you send me an NFT of a Yeti, I'm gonna be like, ha ha ha, Gary, that's so dang funny, right? Like, you can take advantage
Yeti?
of me. I'll be like, that's a cool Yeti. I'll be like, can you sign that Yeti, Gary? But that's what I mean. Like, I'm like, okay, because it's Gary, and I'm even to the point where I'm like, ooh, should I get 120 books? Should I do 10 times? but I probably won't because that's a crap ton of money to have all tied up. And the thing is, here's the reason I got two, right? This is how stupid the FOMO is. This is how stupid it is. I bought two because I think they're going to be so awesome that I'm not going to want to sell one.
That's true.
Like I'm like, I want
That's
one
why
for
I
me.
got more than that because I'm not going to. Because what if it's not just one? What if there's 10 characters
Right.
or 15 characters, which would be perfect?
Weird. It's like 15's a number that you might get.
Possibly.
Well, it just told me my credit card was I am having like the worst time with my credit card lately. Oh golly,
Your
what is
credit
going
card's
on?
not going through.
It said your credit card isn't authorized. I'm like, I don't even understand what you're saying. Like, what do you mean it's not? Change billing information. Did I write anything wrong? No.
That's hilarious.
Right. I tell you, I'm having a rough time with my CC. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, what am I doing now? Whatever I did, it changed things, people.
Okay.
It changed things with
The
my
site
phone.
did crash earlier. Barnes and Noble did crash earlier.
Did it?
Yeah, because I was trying to put in my order and it went. He had said that it crashed, but things are still working for me. But when I put it in, yeah, it didn't go through. So I deleted it and then put it in again. But luckily, I've only gotten one email
Oh,
so
I've
far.
got click to pay. So now it's having me do click to pay, which is kind of cool. Okay, I did that. I don't need to do that. Go back to Barnes and Noble. Okay, back to Barnes and Noble. Are you sure
Yeah,
you want to go
Scary,
back to the merchant?
perfectly played. I mean, he said have $300, $600, or $900 ready for this announcement, and he was right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently more
awesome.
than that for some people.
Some
Right?
people.
For you, you needed a little bit more.
I needed a little bit more, but still all right.
Yeah, for sure.
But that go through yet?
No, I'm still fighting. Like I'm trying to do it a different way, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Look at this way. It like enters it all for me." And but then it like doesn't let me click the buttons that I want. So I'm like, "What is going on here?" Like it wouldn't let me do it. Oh, because I had to like manually enter that.
When you have Apple products, you just type your credit card in once, and then everywhere you go, it just clicks it and fills it in.
Well, this is how this is. It's got my stuff all in it. This time I'm doing it where it has my stuff all in it. But
That's awesome.
It was still acting a little funny. But I almost called you to get the XRP. I was like, oh, it accepts Apple. Can you get me some Apple money?
I do have an
Because
Apple Pay. I think I have a couple $100 on my Apple Pay. I've never really used it, but a friend was giving me money, and yeah, I have to figure.
So the part that's making me really grumpy about this is I could have just done this on Amazon.
Yeah,
But you're trying to get is real.
You're trying to get something special, getting it from Barnes and Noble.
He told me that if I do it there, I'll get something special. So I'm trying to get something special because that's what Gary Vee said, because the FOMO is real. So you can now tell my friends why this, oh, did I just click the wrong button? Why this is, yeah, why this is the Gary Vee FOMO experience, right? Because if he says it, we get FOMO'd, we go all in. He tells us we're not supposed to go all in. We don't care. And we don't go all in, but we buy in and we go for it. And so Gary,
well, I have company here, so I'm going to cut this short.
Yeah, no, thank you everybody for joining us. If you didn't see it, you can go get Gary Vee's book on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Noble. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing book. If you buy 12 of them, he'll airdrop you something. You just got to go to his website.
You have till Saturday, the 28th of August at 4 p.m. to do that. And there's a form on his website, garyvee.com/book. And there's a form you have to fill out and then put your receipt to it. Don't forget to do that form, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to do the form. So yeah, people. So if you want to do that, you can get in. You can get in on this action.
Yes,
so
it's awesome.
Go ahead and do it. And other than that, people, we're excited. We'll be doing another episode November 16th with a whole bunch of books. We'll do a giveaway for books because we're going to have a ton of books. So if you're like, listen, I just want one book, don't run out and buy a book. We'll take care of you, especially if you're one of the first 10 in Discord.
Oh yeah,
you
good
can just
idea.
message us and we'll be like, yeah, sure, have a book, right?
That'd be
So
awesome.
it'd be cool. So, oh shoot, we should check our Discord really quick. Nope,
I
nobody.
didn't have it open. Okay.
Yeah.
Soon. We're still
Hopefully
building
nobody.
a giant audience.
That's right. Well, hopefully we didn't miss anybody there. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Gary V, if you listen to this, if you ever want to be on, you ever want us to do an episode with you, we'd be more than happy. If you want us to come visit you, we would for sure do that, right? Or you can come visit me in Michigan or Kilted in Carolina.
He's in Charlotte a lot. He's on the Bojangles board.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for listening, people. This is Ballbuster signing out.
Kilted Dragon Jer, I love you.